friends, how's it going? It is Wednesday night, and that means it is time for Wednesday's Wreaths and More. And tonight we are focusing on the and more portion. We have this wonderful assortment of ribbons here. You'll see that they all look like Easter ribbons, except for these. These are birthday. That's going to be for our talk on directional ribbon. Okay, but I have some Easter bows that I need to make for someone who's going to put them on some signs. So we're going to make some smaller bows, and then we're going to work our way up into making a very large, potentially tree topper or over-the-top wreath bow. And yes, that is a Ferris silk ribbon over there, my friends. It is a Ferris silk ribbon. Super exciting. All right. So a lot of people had said when they were asked, what do we want to work on this year? And a lot of people said bow making. Bow making is tough. You know, people can put tails in a wreath. That works well, but when you get to the bow, sometimes people just can't figure it out. And there's two schools of thought. You can hold it with your hand and hold the loops and make those by yourselves with your hands. But then there are some of us who have problems with our hands. I have tendon issues right here in my thumbs. So it's much easier and a whole lot less painful to use a bow maker. Now, there are different kinds of bow makers out there. I was going to try to grab one from the other side, but they make smaller versions. But there's the Pro Bow the Hand, there's the Bow Dabra. This is the Easy Bows. Now, this is the Design Pro version. If you go to my profile, there's a link tree. You can get, there's an affiliate link there. But they also have a smaller version of this. I like this one because it's got the plastic dowels in there, so it's not going to move. So it always helps me to use a bow maker. That way, knowing me, if I'm halfway through a bow and I suddenly, if I had ice cream the night before and things start getting a little rumbly in the tumbly, I can just stop what I'm doing and walk away. I can go pick up my kid and come back the next day. And it's still sitting there waiting and, you know, nothing's happening to it. So that's why I love these, okay? So we're going to talk bows and ribbon. This might be basic to some people, but some people might be new. So I'm going to treat everybody on this call like, hey, this is our first time being here. Well, hello, Robin. Hey, Misty, how's it going? Wendy, thanks for joining me tonight, ladies. Wired ribbon is our friend. Okay, there are other ribbons that you can use, but wired ribbon is definitely our friend. Okay, and I'm going to show you just an example here. I have a sample ribbon, okay? I've got two ribbons, actually. These were both leftover Joanne. But let's look at the difference in our ribbons, okay? This is a wired ribbon. So if I make that loop, it's going to stay nice and loopy, right? I can twist it. I can bend it. It's going to do all sorts of things. I can twist it around. It's going to stay exactly as I have it, right? That wire is going to make sure it does what I want it to do. This is not a wired ribbon. So when you look at it, it is very flaccid. This looks like, yeah, it looks like it needs some ribbon Viagra. It's floppy. You're not going to like it. It's not going to keep its shape. Do not use wired ribbon. Now, I purchased this one on accident because I thought it was wired. Turns out it ain't. So I do have this ribbon that I can potentially use. I'm not going to make it with this tonight. Or could I? I don't know. Let me see what else. I might come back to this one. But I wanted to show you the difference of why the ribbon you choose is very important to how your bow turns out. Okay? Now, let's do a birthday ribbon, for example. Okay? We're going to do a birthday ribbon. These all have really nice wires. All right, so say, for example, we want to make a small bow. For example, this is going to go on a very small wreath, or perhaps there might be a lantern or a little small accent. So we want something that's going to basically be about 10 inches max total, right? So that's kind of like 5 inches on either side. I do take my tails a little further out than the loop on the ends, just for fun. So this first ribbon, it says party, celebrate. Now, it's got packages. Most of it is up and down. The celebrate, the words are all facing up. None of them, a couple of them look upside down. But it's not as noticeable as this pattern. If you flip this one upside down, that must be one hell of a party because your balloons are upside down, your cake is upside down. Yeah, you must have been imbibing some kind of substances there. I don't know what was going on at that party, but that's not right. So we're going to have to work specifically on making sure that that looks good. So I'm going to put this one in here. This is our bottom layer, okay? You can stack them all up if you want, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing clearly, so I'm going to keep that off of here. Our wired edges, I like to dovetail mine at the very beginning. What a dovetail is you take the wired edges, you put them together, and then you cut angles going upward toward the wires, and then you end up with a shape that looks like a V, okay? V shape, nice and pretty. We like that shape, okay? There's our V shape. Okay, there's our V shape. All right, this prevents it from fraying and it just gives it a nice finish. So I'm going to put this in here. Okay, we always want to work trying to keep our nice side facing up on the side we're working on, and then the other side is going to flip. So this is going to have, we're going to do a 6-inch tail over here. This is the part, so the tail from the center to the end with no loop. Okay, this is called a tail. We're going to put that in here in our bow maker. I'm going to hold my hand here because my left hand is going to pinch and twist this ribbon. It's a nice, get a good tight twist in there, okay? Okay, it's like Legally Blonde. You want to do the pinch and twist, okay? We are looking now at the back side of the ribbon on the left. We're going to bring it over, put it through here, okay? And now, because this was at 6 inches, I like to make this loop like 5.5, okay? So I'm going to kind of twist it as I'm pushing down, okay? So watch my hands. Kind of going, right? So when I've done that, I've sealed that top side up on the left, but now the back side is on the right side. You can always just pinch it and you know, do it that way and then move it after you're done. I like to be able to kind of move it in one. But I'm going to push this through, and now we're going to do a 5.5-inch loop. Now I don't have to pinch and twist because this one is just going to have a tail at the end, okay? So it's okay that this is facing up. This one is a little past 6 inches, so I'm going to go about 6.5 inches on this left side. And then when I dovetail it, putting my wired edges together and snip. There we go. Now, you're left with what kind of looks like a 12-inch bow sub sandwich, right? What do we do with this? Pull your tail down and your loop up on the right, and do the opposite on the left. Your tail is up and your loop is down on the left. It is making the shape of an X, okay? The shape of an X. And then we are going to go the other way then with the other ribbon, should we need to, okay? So we'll have a tail up. So our next layer, this is the directional ribbon. Now this is where it's a little different than making the other regular ribbons. I don't think it really matters, Misty, which way you pinch and twist, as long as it turns around. It's whatever way you feel works best for your hands. I like to go that way. Some people like to go that way. I don't think it really matters. As long as you're looking at the right side, that's all that matters. All right, so now this is up and down. Happy birthday to you. Well, yeah, happy birthday to you. My daughter is having her birthday. She is 13 on Friday. So I guess this is kind of timely. Now, normally, let's put this in here. Normally, on the second layer, I would start from the left and go to the right. But I can't do that with this one because it's directional, and otherwise, it's going to be upside down. You can make it upside down and flip it when you're done, but that confuses me. That's too much brain power, and I cannot mentally handle that. So I'm going to put this on the right side again, the same way that I started last time. That hit at 6. I'm going to have this hit at like 5.5, okay? And I'm going to pinch and twist over here. So now I'm looking at the back side of the ribbon on the left. All right, back side. Now we're going to pull it over, bring it over. Now, if these loops were 5.5, I want to have this loop be 5 inches, okay? We always want to come in at least a 1/2 inch, maybe more depending on how wide overall your bow is going to be. But I come in at least a 1/2 inch, okay? And then I'm going to pinch and twist, all right? Kind of just that one hand and hold it down with here and then kind of pinch and twist with the other. 5 inches. And then bring this straight out and then cut this off a little past 5.5. So I like to cut it kind of where the loop below it ends. And And now we're going to dovetail this one. So we're going to separate this out. Now remember last time I said we're going to go opposite. So the tail is going to come up here, and then the loop is down on the right. Okay? And then the tail comes down on the left, and the loop goes up on the right. But look closely. Okay? That, from my perspective, the writing is up on this. It is going up on that. It's going correct on this one. This one's upside down. The cake is upside down. It may not bother you, and that's okay if it doesn't. But what we're going to do if it does is we're going to take that whole loop. Okay, pinch it as close to the center as you can, that whole loop. Pinch and just twist that entire loop, the whole thing. Because once you get other stuff on top of this, you're not even going to see it. And everything looks not wonky. Okay, so there's that. All right. Now on some bows, depending on how big and fluffy you want, you can use 1.5 inch ribbon. You can use 2 1.5 inch ribbons, and you can also throw a 1 inch or 7/8 in there as well. I'm just gonna do 1.5 inch. Okay. Or maybe not. Maybe, nah, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna make it easy. Okay. Again, directional ribbon. We have a certain way that text needs to go. Okay. Now this time though, it's kind of going this way. It's going the opposite direction of that one. So I'm going to dovetail it, but I'm going to have to start my end. I want to start by going this way. Okay. So I'm going to put it in here. And then that tail hits it like 5 inches. Then I'm going to pinch and twist it on the right. Oops, go that way. All right. So now I'm looking at the back side on the right. I'm going to bring it over. We're going to have a 4 inch. Well, let's do 4.5 inch. Let's live on the edge, guys. 4.5 inch, okay? On the right. I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to pinch and twist that left side. So I'm looking at the back. Bring it over. And have a 4 inch right in there. Okay? And then just bring this straight out. Like I said, cut past the loop. I cut past the loop. Yeah, like a 1/2 inch. Because we're going to cut this off. Alright? Just like we did with the layer before this, though. Once we get everything, okay, tail up, loop down. Wait, no. Yeah. No. Nope. Yeah, there we go. We're doing good. Alright. This one's upside down again. This one's upside down. So we're going to take that whole thing, pinch and twist nice and tight. Nice and super nice and tight right toward the center. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm going to take a pipe cleaner. Now there's 2 different ways you can do this. You get a small little, I'm using white because, you know, black would show up. So whatever closest matches your fabric. All right. And we are going to pick this up. Okay, so I'm going to scooch it up from the bottom a little bit. I'm going to make sure my hand gets under the bottom. And now I'm going to push down on the top as I pull up from the bottom. Squish these layers together. It's a BLT sandwich. You don't want to lose your layers. I'm going to put this pipe cleaner right underneath my finger. Okay, pipe cleaner was right underneath the finger. Just slid it right under there. This is going to go around the whole thing. Now you could just put a pipe cleaner around the whole thing and then twist it, right? You can do that. I personally like to use the zip tie because otherwise I don't think your loops pop as much if you don't use a zip tie. The tighter you can make it in the middle, this is how you get that really nice looking finish where the loops just pop. So tight, tight, tight. Zip ties are your friend. They're not just for subduing intruders. No, my friends. They are also for making gray bows. Okay. So with your pipe cleaner on the back, I like to give it a twist because I don't want it going anywhere. If I put it on a wreath or something, I don't want it sliding up and down on that pipe cleaner. But now we have to fluff this, okay? So we're going to start, I start from the back. All right, we're going to fluff our layers, okay? So you can see when I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure that the bottom layer is there, and then the layer on top of it comes in between the void spaces that were kind of up at the top, okay? So you see how there was a present at the bottom, and now making sure that that birthday directional is there. The same down here, present and present, and then here's the birthday directional. All right. Here we go. Now, you can kind of see the pipe cleaner in the middle, and some people are going to be like, ew, I don't like that. I don't like it either, my friends. I don't like it either. So we're going to take these 2 loops, okay? Pinch them together down at the base, right on top of that pipe cleaner. Pinch them, all right? And then it brings it together. So if you pinch it nice and tight, and then kind of pull out your loops, then it's hidden. Then you cannot see the pipe cleaner. You don't see the pipe cleaner. Nope. You don't see the pipe cleaner. No, no, no. Nice and easy. That, my friends, is one way to deal with directional ribbon, the bane of our existence. All right, so this is a nice, cute one. I mean, honestly, you could even use these as reusable, environmentally friendly, reusable gift bows. You would just tape the pipe cleaner onto the package, and then boom, it makes a nice first impression, especially if you're going to a baby shower, a wedding shower, making bows like this. It just looks like you put extra effort in there. It just feels like there's just a little extra dash of love in there with your bow. Okay. Ooh, hold on, I got something on my glasses. There we go. Sorry, there was a piece of cut ribbon stuck in the front of my eye. Couldn't do that. All right, I want to go and pop in and say hello to my friends. Teresa, Don Jimenez, hello, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My friend Linda, I had breakfast with Linda today. 2 Lindas just hanging out having breakfast. It was a wonderful time. It's always such a great day when I get to see my friend. All right, so we're going to put this one to the side. The next one we're going to talk through is making a slightly bigger one. So we've done the smaller rounded bow, right? Now we're going to talk one that has tails. So these are just some possible patterns I have picked out. I might do 2 like this. I'm not sure. I know I definitely want to use these 2 together. But maybe, you know, I don't necessarily think I need that. I think I'm good with just this and this and this, okay? So I'm gonna make, we'll do 2, okay? I'm gonna make a smaller bow, just like the one that I just made. We're gonna see, once you got it down pat, how quickly can this go, okay? So we got tail at 6, boom, loop at 5.5, pinch and twist, loop at 5.5, boom, cutting it off. All right, that is layer number 1. I just want you guys to see how quickly it can go once you guys get used to doing these. All right, second layer, Easter pattern. All right, now we're going to start from the left, going to the right. Just some cute little eggs, 5.5-inch tail. I pinched and twisted on the right. We're going to go slower on the next bigger one. I just needed to get this small one done because I've got a customer that's waiting on it. So you guys just get to watch me do it. All right. Here we go. All right. You know, I had this in this bottom one, this plaid was in my bin of summer ones. And then I was like, you know what? I think it's vibrant enough, but not so bright that I could get away with using it for Easter. And that's exactly what I did. I like the Easter bow. I'm a sucker for pink. Okay, now my next layer on the top, I'm starting over on the right-hand side, going to left. Okay. So I'm going to put this one, that's like a 5-inch tail. And like I said, we're going to do a 4-inch loop. 4-inch. 4-inch. Now, if you're going to make these for craft shows, these are not the $5 bows because there's 3 different ribbons. There's a lot more manual labor involved. And the ribbon itself is not as inexpensive, like for example for these, as it was like, you know, Sam's ribbon, you know, the spool for $50 or $8.99 for 50 yards. I would probably charge at a craft show maybe $7.99 for a bow like this. I think I charge $11.99 or $12.99 online because I offer free shipping, and shipping on this is probably like $6 or more, depending on where someone is. Plus, you don't know this when you're ordering, it doesn't tell you, but a lot of people who order are in a more rural delivery area, so there's an additional $3.25 delivery charge. So on all orders that go to rural places, it's more. So even if I price like a kit where you're paying for shipping, it does not factor in that extra delivery charge. So I have had to increase my shipping charges by just a wee bit because I was losing my shirt and other body parts to shipping. Okay, here we go. Just flipping. Okay, so once you get into it, you see how quickly that one was able to go? It was nice and quick. Okay, now we're going to talk making one that's longer tails. Okay, and I think I'm actually going to put, I'm going to put this on the back. I am going to use a pink, so I'm going to use 3 2.5-inch ribbons. Okay. Woohoo! All right, coming off here. All right, I just want to go and double check over here on my friends on the tube of you. All right, excellent, excellent. Making sure you guys can see well. Let me crank that light up. All right, bring it a little closer maybe. All right. Okay, so this one, we are going to start with this. Now, this is a non-woven ribbon on the back. It's very inexpensive. I got this spool from Craft Outlet. But it's really pretty. Look at the pattern on that. It's so pretty. I really, really like that pattern. See that one? It's so pretty. I mean, it's springy. It can be summer. It can be baby shower. It's a floral pattern, but it's really, really subtle. All right, on this one, I'm going to have a tail that's not super long. I'm going to go with a tail that's about 14 inches, okay? So I'm putting that in the bowmaker, and I'm pinching and twisting. Even though it looks the same as the front, the stitching on your wire is different on the front than it is on the back. So even though it looks the same, you still want to pinch and twist with the bowmaker. Okay. All right, I'm going to put this in here. We are going to do this layer at, let's do this at 6.5. Okay, 6.5. Okay. I've pinched and twisted, and I'm looking at the back side of the ribbon here on the right. Bring it through, 6.5. Now I want this one to be nice and fluffy, so I'm going to do 3 loops on either side. Okay, bring this down again, and we're going to do 6.5. Pinch and twist, bring it around, coming through, 6.5. All right, and then our last layer, 6.5. And I'm really at this point just kind of checking where, compared to the rest of my loops, it's hitting, right? All right. Now, I like to, instead of taking this out to the side and measuring, I will bring my tails down. All right. Imagine when you go get a haircut and they bring the hair that's like on your sides, they bring it down under your chin to see if it's even. I do that with this, and I cut just past where these would meet. Just past the tip of the other one. Just enough to give me room to dovetail. And boom, there we go. Nice and level. Okay. When I have 3 loops on either side, what I like to do is keep this one centered. So underneath it, I'll take that second layer and go up, and the bottom layer and go down. Okay. On the left side, I will take that second layer and go down, and that bottom layer and go up. All right. So I kind of alternated that, but I always like to keep the top one in the center. Why? I don't know. That's just how I do it. Okay, so that is our nice non-woven ribbon. If you do like this ribbon, I don't have it in my shop yet, but it's Craft Outlet, item number 984240-03C. or 841-40-461. Fun numbers, guys, fun numbers. Okay, now I'm going to bring this in here. I love how it's, I don't know, I didn't plan it, but those two go together so well. Okay, so then this is the next layer. The reason I did not want this ribbon as the bottom layer is because it's very pretty, but it is also kind of thin. It is a thinner ribbon, so I need something at the back that's going to be stiff. We like it stiff. We do. We don't want it all floppy. No, no, no. It needs to be nice and stiff. Read into that what you will. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. So I'm going up about an inch from the previous layer. So this would be about a 13-inch tail. All right, and once I've put it through here in the center, hold it with one hand, and I pinched and twisted. Okay, it was like that, and I pinched and twisted. This is the back side. Hard to tell, I know, but it is. All right, now on this layer, what I like to do is, because you see you got 1, 2, 3 on the loops and 4, 5, 6, there's nothing in the middle. I like to have a loop in the middle. So we are going to have loop, 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 loop. We're going to have 5 loops on this one. And then the tails are going to be on the same side, but we'll move one over when we're done, and you'll never know. All right. So we're going to push this through. If that was 6.5 inches, I'm going to do this at 6 inches. Okay. Pinch and twist. So that's the back side. Bring it back over. Measure out my 6 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to push down, pinch and twist over here. Bring it back over. Okay, that's even with that. And when I'm trying to make sure it's even, I'm not squishing it down. I'm just following the natural curve. Okay. And then we're going to pinch and twist on the right-hand side, so it's the back side. All right. And then pinch and twist. Bring it over. Okay, so that is our third loop. And then I will bring this tail down to the other side, right? It's on the same side. I know, it's like, why are you doing that? There is a reason. I'm going to cut this just past where the other tail was. And I like ribbon like plaid that has a grid, because then I can make a nice straight cut. There we go. All right. Okay, I'm going to take this middle loop and I'm going to pull it up to the center. Then this one is kind of on the top, and then that one goes on the bottom. Okay, I'm filling in the space between the bottom pink layers of ribbon. All right, and then this one will go up, and then that one will go down. There we go. Because there's nothing that drives me nuts more than if I see a bow and then there's a thing in the middle of it. Like, I like to have that top rounded shape, right? And I know there's lots of other ways to make different bows as well. Depending on how it's going, we might make some other types of bows that you could do by hand with some thinner ribbon, because there is, I think the trend lately is seeing a lot of bows made with like some thinner ribbon. All right, here is our egg ribbon. Now, fortunately, thank gosh, we don't have to worry about directional. We are good with the directional. All right, I want to be able to see everybody. Leslie's on. Oh, my bows, when you try to take it out. Holding on to, pinching the ribbon when you try to take it out is, you just got to hold on to it super tight. Or if you need to, you can lay down a pipe cleaner on the bottom and then make your bow and then bring it up and like twist it. And then when you pull your bow up, then you can just take that pipe cleaner, just twist it in the front and slide the twist to the back. Does that make sense? That way you kind of secure it a little bit before you try to pull it out of there. Dory, hello. Thanks for joining. Teresa, hello. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. I'm going to put this one in here. This is, again, an inch above, so this would be about 12 inches. All right, and I pinched and twist on the left. That one was about 6 inches, so we're going to go, this one will be like a 5.5. Oh my, I don't know if I'm not going to have a lot. It's gonna be a photo finish here. We're gonna do 5-inch loops on this. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Woohoo! Oh, I have more. I had more than I thought. All right, but I only want to do 2 loops, okay? Make sure that looks good. Yeah, that's good. All right, bringing it down. So make sure I like it before I cut anything, because I could still take it off and make it longer if I wanted to, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm good the way it is. Bring it on down. Cut this just past that one. All right. Here we go. Woo! These lights are hot, man. I mean, I know I'm in menopause, but like this adds like a whole extra layer of the 7th circle of hell in terms of the heat. Oh my gosh. Oh, if I put the fan on though, it gets too loud and then nobody can hear me. Which might not be a bad thing because I know my voice is annoying. All right, now we're gonna stop our top layer. We're gonna do, that's a lot of pattern on top of pattern. I think I'm gonna switch it up, guys. I think I'm gonna try to use, I'm gonna bring back this back one, and I'm gonna do just a light pink on the top because there's just a lot going on. There's a lot already with the plaid and the eggs. And it's okay to bring back a pattern from the back and kind of repeat it again at the front. It kind of adds like a cohesive feeling. All right, so. And then I could still put the other pink on top of it, but I definitely want some kind of solid in here to start picking this up. Right? Okay, so this is a 1.5 inch. So this would be like a 10-inch tail. Yep, we're about a 10-inch tail. Pinchy twisty. All right, and we're going to do 4.5 inch loop. 4.5 inch loop. All right, pinch and twist, another 4.5 inch loop. And then again, we're going to pinch and twist on the right hand side. You see that motion, that pew, right? That with the hand. 4.5. I want one in the middle, so I'm going to do another loop again, just like we did with that plaid layer, having a loop in the middle, but I'm going to bring that one up. I want to have that thing in the center, okay? So I'll have 2 loops, and then the one in the center, but then I want to have a loop in the middle, so I'm going to have a small loop. I'm going to put 3 fingers down here, all right? 3 fingers fit through that loop. Then I'm going to push this down. Pull it down. Here we go. Snip. And snip. All right. All right, so on a bow like this, so I'm going to get a little bit larger of a zip tie, but I don't know where someone is going to be putting this. So I want to give them a lot to work with. So instead of just 1 pipe cleaner, I'm going to take 2 pipe cleaners and I'm going to twist them together. So I'm making one really long pipe cleaner. All right. They do sell ones that are 24 inches long, but I don't feel the need to go out and buy that. Okay. So I have 1 long pipe cleaner. All right. Again, here's where I'm going to slide it up a little bit. Get your hand underneath. And then push down on either side. See how my thumbs are on either side of here, of the prongs? All right, pull it all the way up. All right, and then hold it. Now, sometimes you can push too tight. Put the pipe cleaner on the back, under your finger. Pipe cleaner on the back, under the finger. Just under, there we go. If you push too tight, then sometimes it will force those layers to separate. And we don't want that either. Okay, I'm pushing. When I put the zip tie through, it's poking through my fingers. See how it's like poking through there? So then I can just come through and just move my thumb ever so slightly. Boop. It holds that. I bring it around from the back. Oh, those first couple clicks you hear of the zip tie, it's security. It's like, okay, I'm not going to drop it. All right. I pulled, but I'm not pulling it within an inch of its life yet, okay? I'm going to grab it by the pipe cleaners and hold on to it. We want to make sure everything looks like it's in its proper position. So sometimes I'll even put it down, okay, on the table. I will do that so you guys can see. This one, you see how it starts sliding down? We want to move this kind of back up into position, all right? So everything should be nicely stacked evenly. If it's not, you can kind of pull it back up before you've tightened it. Don't pull it all the way yet, okay? Okay. Move everything around, again, with your bottom layer, okay? And then the layer on top of that is going to go between those other loops. You're going to fill in that void space. All right. And then the other layers. All right, now I've got that fixed. Let's kind of put your fingers in here. Tugging on it really gives it a nice, that's what kind of helps it pop. So give it a nice good, give it a good old tug. I'm keeping the comments clean for right now. I'm thinking something else in my mind, but I'm keeping it clean for everyone involved. All right, now, remember how we had the two tails on the one side? I'm going to grab the bottom one. Remember the plaid tails? They're both on the right. Grab that one and pull it to the left, right? Yank it over, and then it just looks like it was there to begin with. I told you no one's going to know. I'm not going to tell them. All right. That looks good. So let's go back here. I want to move that zip tie down toward the bottom, so when I cut it, it's not sharp against anyone's hands. And now I'm going to pull it nice and tight, okay? Click, 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 click. Ah, it's a beautiful thing. Snip. All right. Now I'm going to twist this twice. All right. So when I bring it back around, yeah, I've squished that one, but boop, there we go. So this is a really pretty bow that you can use on a wreath. People also put these directly on their door by itself. You can make a loop with the pipe cleaner on the back. And you can hang it from that. You can put this on the end of a banister. You can put it on a mailbox. You can, you know, put it pretty much everywhere. I actually thought about putting one on the front grille of my minivan. I would probably look insane, but I mean, it is labeled with my business name and stuff. So I mean, I guess people would understand why I'm walking around with. Why are you driving around with the bow? It's kind of like my little spring version of having the reindeer nose and antlers. But then here is our really nice, pretty bow. Turned out well. There we go. There's that bow, my friends. All right. There's that bow. So we have that one. All right. That is a nice one as well. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side. I need to make me some room because we're going to make a big behemoth as our finale here. All right. So some people like the big over-the-top style. Or perhaps they are making a tree, right? But this one's going to work with 4-inch ribbon. And it's not just regular 4-inch ribbon. It is a 4-inch Ferrosilk, which means it has a very, very nice taut wire. Okay? Let me just finish pinning these up. Because I'm weird that way. I cannot work if it's a mess. Oh, I need another pin. Here we go. I'm like, where's the pins for these? Well, I opened the rolls, so I didn't have any pins in there. All right. I'm going to put this on the chair behind me. I'm going to forget it's on the chair, and then I'm going to go to sit down on it, and then I'm going to squish them. You poor things. All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. Obviously, this looks like a bunny and carrot theme, and if that's what you thought, then you would be correct. You would be correct. Which one has the most? Yeah, we'll use this one. All right. All right, so we have a varied assortment. There's some beige with some bunnies. I don't think I'm going to use that one. I think I like this one with the larger bunny. I like this black with the carrot. I do have this black and white. It does have a wire in there. It's not the strongest of wires. That's a Kirkland wire, so I think that was Costco. This, though, is a new one I haven't used yet. This is black and white cabana stripe. Some orange, but this is the showstopper right here. This is our Ferris silk, okay? This is a designer ribbon. Just unrolling it and unspooling it, like, look at the curl you're getting just right away. You can see it is nice. It is a stiff backed ribbon. Okay, you do get what you pay for when it comes to ribbons with this Ferris silk. It is gorgeous. Now, a little goes a long way, right? So you don't have to make your whole bow out of a $30 spool of ribbon, but you can add some accents. So I just want to have, I'm going to say, do we want to, yeah, we're going to do, I'm trying to debate if I'm going to do this as a tray topper, but I think I'm going to make this more as an over-the-top type bow where it has one long tail, 2 loops, and then a shorter tail coming out up on top. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so this one, I could dovetail it if I wanted to, but I think the back is pretty, so I am going to bend it once and bend it twice, so I'm going to roll the edge. All right, and it stays because that is a phenomenal wire. That is a beautiful wire. Okay, now this one, I'm going to have kind of a longer tail. Okay, so let me see how long this tail is. So from the bottom where I rolled it to here is about 17 inches. Okay, so I'm going to pinch this one. Now this, see how it's crumpling? It's really hard to pinch this one because it's a good quality ribbon. So it's not an easy pinch and twist in here. I'm going to have to pinch and twist this by hand. All right. And then push it down there once it's twisted. Otherwise, it's going to, I don't want it to break my dowels. Okay. So, and even then it's not going down all the way. So that's okay though. That's all right. You could also hold this in your hand if you wanted to. All right. All right. Let's make this. Here we go. Now we got it. Okay. So I'm going to bring this one down. We're going to have 9-inch loops on this one. Okay. So this is where it would be. So I'm going to have to take this here and I'm just going to gather it and pinch it right by hand. Pinch and then twist the other side. Okay. I had to do this outside of the bowmaker because it's so big and stiff. I had to do it by hand. Ooh. Yeah. I'm a widow. It's a long time since I've done anything like that by hand. Never mind. Okay, then I'm going to bring this in. Again, figure out where is our 9 inches. Roughly here. I'm going to pinch it. Now this time I don't have to twist it because this tail is going to go straight up. Okay, so it's a little, actually maybe more on this side. All right. That's almost a little bit before 9, a little bit before 9. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm going to bring this tail out. I like the tail. I want it to end about 1 inch past here, but I have to roll that up, so I need to cut it at least an extra inch. So I'm cutting this at probably 10.5 inches. Okay. And overall, this did not use a whole lot of the designer ribbon, right? Look at how much I still have left. There's a lot on there still. But it's, you can pair expensive ribbons with regular ribbons and it will elevate the entire design. All right. I'm going to get a bit of a straighter cut on that one because I want to bend this. Okay. So I'm going to bend like a 1/2 inch and then bend it again. If it doesn't stay, you can always add a little dab of glue right along that line and then bend it and then it'll stay. But I want this one here. Give me some room, babies. There we go. I want this tail to come up. Okay, this is not going to be an exact straight up and down parallel 90-degree cross. Okay, it's kind of on an angle, so your tail is up in the top left, and that loop is kind of like a down on the bottom left, and this loop is like upper right, and then your tail comes down. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right now. Okay, for my other friends, right there, that's what this is going to look like. All right, now we got to figure out what we would like for our next layer, and I think I would like to go with the black and white cabana stripe, okay? Because it is a busier pattern, but there's nothing, it's not like the carrots where there's something intricate to look at. It's just stripes. Okay. Now this one came from Craft Outlet 841-40-307. This is nice. This is a nice ribbon. Like when you hold it up, you just see it's still standing straight up for the most part. Okay, now this tail started over on the right. I'm going to start this one over. Hold on. Is that a splice? No, we're good. Okay, here we go. This one's going to start over here. So I'm going to pinch it there. That looks good there. So I'm going to measure this out. This one is, I'd say about 15.5 inches on this tail. Okay, the other one was 17. Okay, so I'm putting it there, and then I'm going to do that move, right, pinch it here, and then pinch and push it down to twist. So we're looking at the back, okay? 9 inches there. We are going to do 8 inches here for this layer. All right, and then pinch and twist on that side. 8 inches over there. Okay. Bring this, cut about 1/2 inch past your loop, and then give it a good dovetail. Boom. You can dovetail it when you're done too. I'm just weird. That's just kind of how I like to do it. Okay. So now I'm going to fill this in. Oh boy, I'm out of room. I got nowhere else to put this stuff. All right, we're doing the opposite. So we have the tail here, then this loop on the right comes down, and then the tail goes on the top over that orange checkered. And then this loop is going to come in here. Now I did notice a little bit of an aberration here on the print. There's like almost like printed over itself. So I'm going to pinch and twist so that goes behind there. Right? Remember the magic of the pinch and twist with the loop? It can be our friend. It's very exciting. Very exciting. All right, now our next layer. Oh, what do we want to do? How about solid orange? Okay, we're going to do a solid orange. Oh, or no, you know what? No, we're going to do the black, because if I put solid orange that's already on solid orange, the next layer might be black, and then it's black on black. I don't want to do that. I'm going to reverse them. Okay, because we're trying to mix up what colors we have next to each other and on top of each other, right? So, here we go. I use this black carrot ribbon a lot. I've got a carrot-shaped grapevine door hanger that uses a lot of this. There's one that's black, checkered, and then there's an orange one. Okay, so this will be 1 inch above that. So this will probably be about a 14-inch tail. Yes, almost exactly. 14-inch tail. Okay, coming up from the right, going to the left. I'm going to pinch on the left and twist it. Here we go. Looking at the back side of the ribbon. If this loop was 8 inches, I'm going to bring this one over, and we're going to do this one at maybe like a 7.5. All right, because I still have more ribbons to put in here. So 7.5. Pinch and twist on the right. Notice that movement. Okay, it was here. Pinch, pinch and twist. Okay, I got my index and middle finger on the top of the ribbon and my ring finger underneath it. All right, if it helps. Or do it however it works for you. I'm just trying to give you guys some helpful hints when it comes to the bows. All right, come back here, cut off about 1.5 inches past that previous layer. All right, here we go. Kind of moving this in here. Now this can kind of, it doesn't have to be right on top of the orange checkered. It can kind of be above or below. All right, now our next one, we're going to do an orange. Let's do a solid orange. All right. Ooh, I guess this is the first time using this because it was bent over. All right. Here we go. Starting left, going to the right. So this would be an inch above. This would be about a 13-inch tail. Pinch and twist, pulling the tail down. So the right-hand side, this is the back. That layer was 7.5. This layer will be 7. Pinch and twist on the left. Bring it over. There is 7 inches. Bring it across here. Cut 1.5 inches past that, or it's not 1.5 inches. Well, kind of. Eyeball it. Personal preference. It's like when people put in there in a recipe, you know, salt to taste. Okay. This is starting to turn into a really cool looking bow. I don't have hardly any Easter bows in my shop, so I'm going to have to build this up pretty quickly. Easter is selling. I mean, people are already into summer. I've already started making some patriotic. It's crazy. It's crazy what's already selling. All right, now the next layer that I want to go to is this is our beige bunny ribbon. Now you'll notice he's directional. There we go. All right, but fortunately we don't need too many of this, and the way we're making this in the cross shape bow makes it easier because we don't really have to worry too much. I think we're going to have to maybe flip one loop. Okay, so this will be about a 12-inch tail. That's about 1 inch there. Roughly. Okay, the tail's coming up. We're going to pinch and twist on the left, bring it around, and then if that orange was at 7, this will be 6.5. Okay, pinch and twist, bring it to 6.5. Okay, and then come back. Okay, trim that and dovetail. So let's lay it out. So that looks right, that looks right, that looks right. He's upside down. Pinch and twist the whole loop. There we go. If you can cut a ribbon, and if you can hold on to something with make a zip tie, you can make a bow. It's keeping things nice and tight in the center. That is what makes the big difference. Okay, we are done with 2.5-inch ribbon on this. Oh Lord, I have nowhere to even put it behind me. Okay, now we're going to talk, what are we using for our 1.5-inch layers? Okay, I have this really awesome carrot ribbon that I love. Actually, I can use a smaller one. Yeah, well, maybe we'll use a bigger one. These are just some kind of remnants from ones that I had cut for kits. So we're good with that. I have this black and I have this orange. And I already used orange very close to here, so I don't think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to want to use this black and white one on the bottom. Now this was a Sam's ribbon, and again, this wasn't the bestest quality. It's almost got one of those grosgrain type of, you can hear it, type of fabrics to it, right? But it works because it's the top layer. All right, so it's hard sometimes to get a really nice, good cut, a sharp cut on this kind of ribbon. A little tricky, but I got it. There we go. All right. All right, we're going to put that in there. So this should be about an 11-inch tail. All right. Pinch and twist. Okay, that was 6.5. I'll do that at 6. Pinch and twist. Put them in at 6. Again, I wish this had a better loop, but because it's all the way on top, it's going to have a lot of support. I think it's fine. Okay, we're good. We're going to be good. All right, let me cut this. All right. Again, not my favorite. I have been to Sam's Club like every week, and I cannot find the ribbon yet. My Sam's does not have it yet. They always are very late with getting it out, especially at Christmas too. Okay, our last layer on this one, my friends. Carrot, orange carrot. Now this is not directional. Yeah, it's got carrots, but they're not in any certain direction. So that'll be easier. All right, so we're going to start with this one. This will probably be, yeah, it's about 11-inch tail. All right. Pinch and twist. Now we're going to have this tail at 5 inches. Okay. Pinch and twist. And this tail, notice I'm kind of moving the layers to make sure that it looks like it's 5 inches. All right. Cut it past here. But we're going to do something special when we're done. Notice I didn't make a center loop or anything. With this kind of bow, you don't need a center loop. Okay, because you, like I did before, you can pinch these center loops together, or you can add something fun. All right, I know darn well this is going to be a big bow, so I'm going to wrap 2 of these together for sure. Okay, nice and tight. Now, I'm going to grab a very, like one of my thicker, more secure, that's not as thick and secure, which is longer. Yeah, they're kind of longer. I'm going to go with the black zip tie for this one because there's a lot of black, okay? Now, this is going to be tough to hold on to this one because there's a lot in here, okay? There's a lot in here, okay? So I'm pulling the whole thing up. All right. Very carefully holding on to it. I'm lifting my finger up in the back and putting the pipe cleaner behind it. Here goes the zip tie. Oh, it just barely makes it. Okay, I heard a couple snips. All right, I'm going to push down and tighten. Okay. All right, so let's, like I said before, let's hold this with the pipe cleaners. Okay. Just for right now. Because I want to make sure everything looks good before I tighten. So I'm going to run my fingers down all these tails. That's going to get that wire to curl under, which we love. So bring your hand all the way down. You see how now it's got that nice curved shape? It's the curved shape to it. That's because we brought our fingers down the wire. Okay. Now let's work on making sure our loops are in the right place. Okay. You want to have line of sight into every loop on here. Okay. You don't want to cover up too much. All right. Especially this nice 4-inch in the back. And there's going to be ones on top of it, but make sure that like the end piece of the bow is nice and prominent. You like that? All right. All right. Again, we kind of pinch these together a little bit. Pinch these 2 together. Right there. Pinch, pinch. All right. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to go back and I like to kind of push it down on the table and get some good clicks. And now I can snip. All right. We've done that. And I can go back in. That's why we use wired ribbon, right? It's like deflating and then reinflating. Okay. But what I think would be really cute on this bow, my friends, here's the bow. Let's get this out of the way. Out of the way. Out of the way. What I think would be really cute is if we took a carrot and put a carrot in the middle. Yay! So I have a varied assortment of carrots here we're going to take a look at. Now that one, it's pretty big. It's hey, sweetie, you like a big carrot? Huh? Sorry, that was terrible. That was my Groucho Marx with a carrot. Huh? No, that was dumb. Sorry. I'm not sorry. That was funny. All right. That looks a little big. It kind of looks like, if I put that in the middle of the bow, it kind of, you know what it looks like. Like if this thing vibrated, I would buy the bow. Okay, never mind. Moving on. We do have these, but the orange is a little lighter than the rest, so I'm not so fond of that. But I like this size. It's small, What I don't like is how tall this grass is. So I'm going to go give it a haircut. All right, I just trimmed off. Okay, I can't leave that there. I can't leave that there. I'm sorry, OCD. All right, I've trimmed it off. So I am going to figure out, is there an obvious back to this? And there isn't. It's just wrapped with jute. So then I'm going to look at what is the best looking portion of this. Like, separate out the top. Okay. That doesn't look so hot. I think this looks like the best. So I'm going to add glue, hot glue onto the back. Okay, just a little bit from like there to there. And I'm just going to put that right on there. All right, and I'm just going to hold it so it is going to adhere to the ribbon. Now, here's the thing. Don't lift it up and take it off too soon, because you might think that it's dry and it's not, and then it falls off. And what happens then on its way down is it will leave a streak of glue on whatever it touches, and you can ruin your bow by doing this. So if you're going to do this, like, give it time to thoroughly dry. Okay, so I'm cleaning up a little bit over here. You can see I'm just kind of cleaning up my mess. Doodle-doodling. So during this time, I am live on the FB page. Do you guys have any questions about any of the bows, or do you have any requests to see a different kind of bow next time? Dory, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Aw, Patty, thanks for watching live. I'm so excited. Yeah, Misty, this is a big one. Bigger's better. Tanika, how's it going? Hope you're having fun tonight. Sherry, that checkered orange and white ribbon, that's a Farrah silk, baby. I'm in love with that. Kelly, how are ya? How are you? And thank you so much for your orders, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Jackie, I know, right? Like, it's like we pick a ribbon. Like, I'll pick a ribbon, and then I go to put it on there, and I'm like, nah. Sometimes you have to get the materials next to each other and go with your gut. And if it doesn't feel right, then don't put it in, you know? We might have really ambitious plans for, like, I'm going to put in 6 different kinds of ribbon. And then once you get to type number 4, you're like, that's looking a little busy. So, you know, don't be afraid to change your mind, you know? What is it? It's a crafter's prerogative to be able to change their minds. Exactly. So there we go. Oh, Leslie, trouble making the buttons. Oh, the loop is too small. I used to make my bows where the loop was just too small in the middle. I find that if you go with at least 3 fingers, that's a good start. But if it's like super big, then you can afford to go bigger. The problem is sometimes if you go bigger, you don't want to see the mechanics or of like the pipe cleaners and stuff too. So there's other ways around it. You know, you can either put something cute in the middle, but not everybody likes that. I like to add what I call a sweet center to the bow. All right, it's got fuzz. There we go. All right, I'm going to lift it up now. Here is our finished bow. Isn't that so cute? I love this. I love this. Even you can just put this on a grapevine. You can find a wreath that's already been made in stores, though they're not as good quality as you would find from somebody like us, but that's okay. But you can do a lot with bows, right? These are also really fun to do. Put them on your coach lights outside your house. You know, you don't have to use expensive ribbons on those. And if they fade after a season, then, you know, it's awesome. But it just helps to add a feeling of fun. So, okay, there we go. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the bow tutorials tonight. Hopefully we can work on bows more this season, try to figure out different ways to do things. I do have lots of tutorials over on my YT channel. So lots of things backed up over there because Facebook kicks them off after 30 days, which I think is so rude, but that's okay. They're paying for the storage. They can do what they want, but I like to make sure if I've done the work, I want it recorded. All right. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys on Monday. I'm already planning what we're going to make. Let's see. What are we going to do? All right. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me all over social media, and you can shop my store at sweetariadecor.com.